Well, a lot for these two leaders to talk about. Donald Trump recently saying that relations with Russia had hit a low. Then his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, recently traveling to Moscow. And now this call in an apparent effort to establish a line of communication between the two leaders to work together on pressing global issues.
The phone call between U.S. President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin was the first since a U.S. missile strike last month targeted a Syrian airbase. The move angered Damascus's main backer, Moscow, which reportedly received advance notice of the attack. According to the White House on the call, the two leaders agreed that the suffering in Syria has, quote, gone on for far too long, and that, quote, all parties must do all they can to end the violence. The White House said the conversation was a very good one and included the discussion of safe or de-escalation zones to achieve lasting peace for humanitarian and many other reasons. The U.S. confirmed it would be sending a representative to a fourth round of peace talks in Kazakhstan later this week. A previous round in March closed without any substantive negotiations taking place after Syrian rebels boycotted the talks. Trump had criticized his predecessor Barack Obama for not doing enough on Syria and warned his election opponent Hillary Clinton would start a world war with Russia over Syria. But Trump himself has been criticized for being too soft on the Kremlin, which is being investigated by the FBI and U.S. Congress for its alleged interference into last year's elections. Trump denies any wrongdoing or connection to Russian actions. Meanwhile, he's recruiting Moscow to help diffuse tensions on the Korean Peninsula. According to the Interfax news agency, Presidents Putin and Trump agreed on the call to, quote, work jointly towards diplomatic solutions on the DPRK.
Now, there was no mention in the call, as we understand it, of some issues past administrations raised with the Russians, things like democratic reforms and minority rights topics Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, addressed when meeting with Putin just hours earlier. Now, Germany will host both leaders, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, at the G20 in Hamburg this summer. And on Tuesday, the two leaders agreed they would try to meet face-to-face for the first time on the sidelines of that event.